Justin.
Me. So earlier on, we had told you we're going to have a debate this morning featuring NASA's Jonathan Mweke, Jubilee's Polycarp Igathe, and independent candidate Dan Shikanda.
No, he's not independent. Yes, he's independent.
Because he's Peter Kenneth's deputy, right?
Okay, so he's independent.
Yes.
Okay. So once you are main man is independent, you automatically become independent.
Obvious.
This thing is just a different level. But just like last night's debate, Mweke has shown up alone first.
Yes.
The debate goes on.
And the man keeps time and is disciplined, so we shall go on with the debate.
Okay, Shikanda walks in.
Oh, Shikanda's just walked in. Okay, just in time.
Yes.
We're about to abuse him.
How he's also independent with the time.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Asante Sana.
All right. Let's get straight to the debate, gentlemen, as we wait for number 3. If he comes or not, it's up to him.
You're already on.
Yes, Jonathan Mweke.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir. The latest poll on the Nairobi County seat, gubernatorial, is a dead even poll. 44% for Kidero, 44% for Sonko. And the rest are pretty insignificant because I think Peter Kenneth got what? 8?
1%.
Is it 1? And Miguna?
Was he there? Was he wrong?
Jonathan, my question to you is, isn't this a crying shame? Because after 4 years of being in office, all you can do is tie your opponent at this crucial time.
Well, you have to look at the poll a little more objectively than that, Jeff, because if you look at the party poll that was done within that same poll, NASA was at 56% and Jubilee was at 34%. Now, you look at again the trends of how candidates vote against their parties. Even in 2013, what happened was we tied with ODM. ODM had 53% of the vote in Nairobi, which was the party that we ran on, and so did Dr. Evans Kidero, and so did Raila Odinga. So that's usually the trend. So it's very interesting to see a poll say that Raila and NASA, which is the coalition we are running on, is at 56% and we're at 44%. I don't believe the 44%. We should be 1 plus or minus 1 of the 55%, 56% that the poll said for the
So what you're saying, the poll is wrong?
The poll is to be questioned, because what you're saying now is that 10 or 12% of the people who would vote for NASA will not vote for us. So who are they voting for? They are NASA supporters.
Dan Shikanda, at 1%, why are you still in the race?
Yes. Yes.
We're in the race because Nairobians want us to be in the race.
Come on.
Jeff, give me a chance.
Shikanda.
Jeff, give me a chance.
Carry on.
Give me a chance. Maybe if I pick from where he's just left. The polls, if you look at the polls, I am a scientist, I believe in the polls. But most of these polls, if you look at the way they're being done, they're not being done objectively. And I can tell you, we have been on this ground, and we're on this ground. I can assure you, come August 8th, things will be different. We're in this race because we believe that Nairobians will vote differently. The voters have been enlightened. It's not about it's not about parties anymore. It's about service delivery. We know so many people have been hoping that there'll be a 6-piece come 8th of August. But I can assure you that 6-piece has really been dealt a blow.
Shikanda,
yes,
the president, when he was in Nairobi last week campaigning, almost pleaded with your candidate, Peter Kenneth, saying, Peter, please step down in favor of the Jubilee candidate Sonko. Pleaded.
We are independent. We are not in Jubilee. The president was going around with his Jubilee candidates, and he has all the right to campaign for them. We are campaigning on our own. We do not rely on the president or on any party leader to campaign. We are facing the electorate direct and telling them what we can do. Nairobi is a shame. We are having cholera, and yet we have an incumbent who has gotten a direct ticket. We need to interrogate. We need to interrogate a number of issues. We need to tell Nairobians the truth. They need a leader who is not loyal to a party, but loyal to the residents of Nairobi.
With less than 2 weeks, Shikando, less than 2 weeks, you have a snowball's chance in hell,
Jeff,
of winning this. And let's be honest.
We have done our groundwork. We are just concluding our campaigns. I can tell you, it will not go for naught. It will not go for nothing. The people, the groundwork we have done, the campaigns we've done, we are the only team on the ground. These people come once in a while and go, and they wait for Baba and the president to bring them around. But I can assure you, 6-piece will not be there on the 6th of August. That one, take it from me, on the 8th of August. Take it from me, free of charge.
Polycarp Igathi has just joined us. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Otherwise known as the spanner boy, the person who's been brought in to fix things that people think that his main man, Sonko, cannot handle this city, so they had to bring him in to at least to fix things.
The fixer.
Is it true that you're just the spanner boy fixing things?
First of all, my apologies for coming in late. I'm lovely to be with you.
Thank you.
Yes, I am Mr. Fix It. I've done that all my life, and I will fix Nairobi, working for Mike Mbuvi Kioko Kivanguli.
So you have no shame, you have no problem with being called the spanner boy?
Listen, I'm a deputy governor. I'm not the governor. And in my career in multinational corporates, when you're a CEO, your first job, if you're going to be a very good administrator, is to make your boss look good. And that's the work of deputy governors, not to compete for airtime or to look like they're the senior politicians. I have a boss, Mike Mbuvi Sonko, and I'm coming to work for him and work for the people of Nairobi as a consequence of that.
Polycarp, are these people taking away votes from you, these independents? The president himself told Peter Kenneth, step down for Sonko the other day. Are they taking votes away from you guys?
No, they are exercising their democratic right.
Thank you.
Tutakutana kwa debe. When you're in competition, playing another team, it's always good to come and play a strong team. And we take them as esteemed competitors, and we are going to compete with them, and trust me, they'll not get above 2,000 votes, especially the ones you've spoken about.
There was a bit of a pause there. Like you said, 2,000. 2,000.
If we get less than 500,000 votes, okay, let me be realistic.
Go on.
We are sure we are going to get over 400,000 votes. That one I can tell you, take it to the bank.
And if you don't,
400,000 votes will not win you an election in Nigeria.
Yes.
No, it won't.
You need 1.2 million votes.
Do you have those, John?
Yes, we do have 1.2 million votes.
From where?
We've mapped it in every single constituency. We are going to be able, as NASA, to take 14 of the 17 constituencies in Nairobi and 55 of the 85 wards in Nairobi. We are on the ground every single day. I've not seen the Sonko Igade team anywhere on the ground. Not seen the Peter Kenneth or Dan Shikanda team anywhere on the ground, except one day maybe we saw them at a corner talking to some people in Mathare.
About the Miguna team.
No, the Miguna team, we watch them on TV. They're usually on NTV, on Citizen TV. Sometimes you might find them on radio, but we've not seen them anywhere in Nairobi.
So Igathi, you guys just launched your manifesto the other day. Just the other day. What is it that is there that the incumbent didn't do, or what you guys are planning to do?
They have not managed the Nairobi financial affairs properly. They are in shambles. After carrying out 3 audits, a special audit of 2013, the Auditor General actually concluded the accounts of Nairobi are in such bad shape he couldn't even give an opinion. So that's an example. They don't pay salaries on time. There's been a breakdown in governance and management in the county. What we are saying, when we come in, forget about the past, we will run the county as required by the Controller of Budget, by the Commission on Revenue Allocation. We are going to do that work. Secondly, we will make sure that we spend 30% of the allocation budget on development. They have not done it. What the incumbent government has actually managed to do is really spend money on recurrent budgets. And that's why we produced a book called The Chronicle of a City Mismanaged, which I leave with you, Jalas, which is the reason why Nairobians must vote out the incumbents. And our manifesto, Making Nairobi Beautiful, Prosperous, Safe and Home, this is the reason why you should vote in Mike Mbuvi Sonko. And we are competing on issues. And to be honest with you, we are on the ground. We just never give notice to our competitors. We are all over the place. And you know, campaigning is not a church meeting. It's not like going for mass that you meet your competitors there. You compete where you know you will win. And I can assure you, we are taking 15 constituencies.
Out of 17.
And we are taking 65 county assembly, the county assembly wards. And in addition to that, we want to say that we will, when we get into government, I want to assure my esteemed competitors here that we shall govern even for them. We shall not govern for half of Nairobi as they have done. Today, out of the 85 wards, 65 ward administrators come from one community in Nairobi. Nairobi does not belong to one community. Nairobi belongs to a lot of people. And if you can...
Is that true, Jonathan? Is that true?
Of course not. You know, I'm listening to Polycarp and I'm wondering, oh my goodness, he has no clue how government works. I mean, Polycarp, absolutely no clue. Even the demographics of Nairobi, he doesn't seem to understand anything. First of all, when we came in 2013, Jeff and Jalas, Nairobi was ranked the second worst city in the world to live in by the Economics Intelligence Unit, by the Economics magazine that ranks cities around the world. We are only second last to Tehran, Iran, which means people even would have preferred to live in Mogadishu than in Nairobi. If you fast forward to 2017, Obama came to Nairobi, the Pope came to Nairobi, World Trade Organization came to Nairobi, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development came to Nairobi. Last week we hosted 136 countries in the IAAF Under 18 Junior World Championships. We have gotten so many accolades. We have now overtaken Johannesburg being the favorite destination for foreign direct investment in Africa.
And you're taking full credit for that, Jonathan?
Yeah, well, let me explain it to you. Which means that anybody in Africa who wants to put their money, they choose Nairobi. Just the other day, I saw in the Sonko and the Gathe manifesto, they say they're going to make Nairobi an economic hub. We are the economic hub of Eastern Central Africa. They say they're going to make Nairobi a tourist hub. We were voted in January this year under the Kidero government as one of the top 3 places in 2017 that people want to visit around the world. We are already the tourist hub. He's talking about financial management. When we came into Nairobi, we were collecting 7 billion shillings in revenue. Now we are collecting 13 billion shillings in revenue. So we have almost more than doubled that. And understanding that revenue is the bloodline of any organization, for us to have been able to get all these people to come to Nairobi for these conferences and visits, it just means that Nairobi is safe, Nairobi is clean, Nairobi is well governed. Otherwise, if you wanted to tell me the national government could take credit for this, why didn't these people choose to go to Mombasa or to Nakuru or to Kisumu, which is still in Kenya? They chose to come to Nairobi because there's something that's happening in Nairobi.
Dan Chikanda, what's the one thing you and your team would change in this city that hasn't been working the last 4 or 5 years? One thing.
We will directly focus on Nairobians in the sense that we want to devolve further and make sure that everything happens at constituency level, not at City Hall, where there's a lot happening there wrong. And it is interesting to note that when we are discussing Nairobi, we should know there is a senator and the governor who are the incumbents. Let us not separate them. They have both been there. If today we are elected and we fail to work with the senator who is elected, we have failed as leaders. There is no shortcut about it. Leadership is all about humility, is all about respect. If I cannot work with a fellow leader, it means I fail. If the governor and senator cannot work, they will not deliver for Nairobi. So as we speak, the incumbents are Sonko and Kidero.
Okay, Polycarp, that brings us to the point here. If Sonko wins and Sakaja does not become the senator, is there friction there? Is there a disconnect? Or do you have to take the whole city?
First of all, Super Senator Sakaja is winning. Number 2, we are working as one Jubilee team, combined as Team Nairobi. But the most important thing is to say this: we are not coming to lord it over Nairobians. We are coming to serve. Our calculus as Jubilee is service, and our mission is forward looking, not backward looking. The calculus of our competitors is extraction. In fact, my good friend Mweke, when he says Nairobi is clean, Nairobi, that must be, it's good humor for a Tuesday morning. Because we are under a stink of garbage in this city. Because they pay garbage collection. Garbage collection is a scam. They pay garbage collectors based on a formula of loading, how much they load. So they don't even take the garbage to the right dump site. We are saying in our manifesto, we'll pay you based on how much garbage you land at Dandora dump site or other designated dump sites within the city. This city, 75% of the population is under the age of 35. The average age of Nairobi County today, I think Mweke is the one who tries to bring it down. It's about 55. So you've taken disenfranchised young people and women from governance, and those are the changes that you shall see. And the Sonko Naigathe ticket is unapologetically youthful in energy, vision, and we shall bring women, young people into the equation. How do you close a stadium like City Stadium for 4 years? It's owned by the county government. It's been shut. City Stadium, nobody plays any games there. Maybe it's been reopened this weekend. I don't know.
Jalas, can you confirm that?
It was closed for some time. I don't know if it was open.
Now,
John, you opened it, Jonathan.
Let me give you another.
Since we've been in government, City Stadium has not been closed. Our Premier League games are played there. The biggest grassroots league, which is Extreme Sports, Super 8. Sport Pesa Super 8 is played there from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
But
Saturday.
wasn't it under construction recently, or the
Sunday,
grass?
We are replacing the turf. Actually, we were going to redo the whole stadium. We had gotten a sponsorship of 100 million shillings from Sport Pesa, but the Jubilee government went and signed a very anti-business law that said that all gambling companies must pay 35% tax gross. There's no business in the world that you can tax grossly 35% and it survives. So Sport Pesa has withdrawn their sponsorship for the renovation of City Stadium.
So it's still closed?
No, it's open. It's open.
But with the games have been played in
this weekend, even this weekend, we are playing the finals of the Governor's Cup, which we have touched directly 17,000 young people in Nairobi. The finals are this weekend.
Okay.
At City Stadium. The stadium is open.
Polycarp, you were finishing your point. Garbage stinks city.
We are under a serious pile of garbage. So I was just challenging the incumbent deputy governor who says that Nairobi is clean, and he has said it on radio.
Yeah, I was just giving.
Then number two.
Okay, go ahead.
Number two. We have a mission. We have a mission to implement reports that have been sitting in their inboxes. We're not going to come and create like the Nairobi traffic decongestion master plan, which gave a very nice 10-point plan, and there's no reason why that has not been implemented. Creating unidirectional traffics, creating park and ride stations. It has gone through a lot of public participation to do it. Then you wonder, why hasn't it been done? There was a plan to even use the dump sites to generate electricity and energy. Why have these plans not been done? And there's really no...
Jonathan will tell you the national government owes them 72 billion shillings.
I'll get to that shortly.
Let me close by saying the biggest disaster. Health has been the most important devolved function for county governments. Nairobi, we even have, and I told you Nairobi is a young county. 1 in 3 people are below the age of 19. So maternal health care, pediatrics, all those are really important. We have 49 deaths for every 1,000 people, for every 1,000 kids born in Nairobi. And 90% of our people go to give birth in Nairobi. And medicine like oxytocin has not been available in our major hospitals. Marakwet, I think, has 33 or 36 deaths for every 1,000 kids born, and less than 20% of the population of Elgeyo Marakwet County go to hospital. What's my point? It's more dangerous to give birth in hospital today in Nairobi County than to give birth at home. This is an indictment on this government. Let's vote them out on 8th and bring Mike Mbuvi Sonko. We will fix this.
Jonathan Mweke.
Yeah, I'll just respond to a few things. But first, before we do that, you see, some of the issues, we've been able to bring Nairobi a long way. especially in the health sector, and I'll explain about that a little bit. We found one maternity hospital, which was Pumwani, and used to deliver about 45 babies a day. Now it does 140 babies a day because we built 2 ICUs, we built 2 theaters, 1 HDU, and we extended the bed capacity. In addition to that, we built another maternity hospital, 120 beds in Mutuini, in Bagathi. We built another 50 beds in Mutuini. We've built Dandora, it has a maternity. Westlands has a maternity. Kangemi has a maternity. So we've increased babies born per day from 40 to about 240 today. You guys are in the media. You've not heard of babies dying anymore. You've not heard of babies being swapped anymore. That's something that we fixed. We used to spend about 50 million shillings a month on drugs. Now we are doing 250 million shillings in drugs. We had 85 health centers in Nairobi when we came in. Now we have 105. We've increased them by 20. We had 0 that opened 24 hours. Now we have 17 that opened 24 hours. So we've done a great job in health, and that has enhanced our women agenda. But when you come to some of the things that we've had challenges in Nairobi, is largely because we've had a non-functional senator, and that is Mike Sonko. The 72 billion shillings that the government owes us. Let me explain to you what 72 billion shillings is. Our budget or expenditure is about 25 billion shillings a year. 72 billion shillings is almost 3 times that. So now tell me, Jeff and Jalas, or even Polycarp, if somebody does not pay your salary for 3 years, how are you going to be able to buy food in the house? How are you going to be able to put petrol in your car or find bus fare for a matatu? And they've not paid your salary in 3 years. That's what this national government has done to us. It was very weird because Senate petitions are done by the senator of the county. That Mike Sonko completely refused and ignored our letters to put us a petition on behalf of Nairobi so that we can get this money, then we can finish up our garbage collection, we can put more medicine in hospitals, light up more streets, and execute our youth agenda. What he did is he came to the county assembly and brought dossiers, which were kicked out in court. So the governor had to do the senator's job to petition the Senate, by petitioning the Senate to give us that money so we can work. We went and appeared in the Senate 3 times. Mike Sonko, our senator, didn't even show up once. The second one is on traffic management. I don't know what 10-point plan Sonko and Igathe have done, but sponsored by the European Union, they brought in travel consultants, some of the best in the world, who've come and done a complete master plan for us. And we have the master plan on how to decongest the city. We have a master plan on how to bring in mass transit systems so that you can decongest completely traffic. In Nairobi, you can't move around 3 million people in 14-seater matatus. You need large format buses, dedicated bus lanes, and you need a rail system. Now, to do that, you have to be backed by legislation. We finished this study in 2014. It was one of our things in our manifesto. And once that was done, we sponsored the NAMATA bill, Nairobi Metropolitan Transport Authority bill, in Parliament in the beginning of 2015. 2.5 years later, that bill has not even been debated. What has our senator been doing? That is his job. Now, we know Mike Sonko is a nice guy. So we just think that his problem is he doesn't know how to do his job. All right, let's move on. Okay. He's never spoken in the Senate for the 5 years he's been there. So it's not that he doesn't want to, he just has no clue. He doesn't know how to do his job. Right. So you're wondering, if you can't be the senator of Nairobi, how can you want to be the governor of Nairobi? Which brings me to Dan Chikanda. Dan, how come you guys, Team PK, didn't resonate with the people? You would have thought PK would have been the obvious choice for Nairobi. How come it didn't resonate?
Jeff, we have resonated with the people. I don't know what you are looking at as resonating with the people. You lost very bad in the primaries. We did not lose in the primaries.
What do you mean?
We know what happened in the primary. What happened is there were 10 buses which were ferrying people around during the Jubilee nomination. And it was very interesting because initially they were to use a party register. But at night, communication went round to only one side that it will only be the IDs which will be used. And if for true, Sonko won the nomination hands down, why are we being told to step down? In fact, we have stepped up. And we have stepped up to reach to as many Nairobians as possible to tell them they need to choose a leadership which will, one, reflect them, who they are, two, which will give them services. So we are resonating with the people. We are meeting the people. We are doing town hall meetings where there's two-way communication. We listen to them, they listen to us. Yeah. If we lost badly at the nomination, definitely we are professionals, we are honorable. We could have known we lost badly. We could have supported the person who won. But look at what happened in Jubilee nomination. Let us not hide and let us not hide behind our fingers and think that all was well. These parties, the big parties, what they do, they mess up with their nominations to pick the people to handpick the people they want. And once they handpick the people they want, these people work for them, not for Kenyans or for the citizens. And that's why we are in this.
Shikanda.
Actually, to show people that let August 8 decide
Shikanda,
the governor.
Earlier on you said you can take this to the bank, that you will get at least 400,000 votes.
Yes.
That means you're not going to win.
We are going to win. Look at this. My friend here, Mweke, is banking on the NASA vote. My brother Igade is banking on the Jubilee vote. We are banking on the Nairobian vote. Voters have been enlightened. I can assure you, we shall get half from NASA and half from Jubilee. We shall be the only team which will get one. Because when you get half and half from this side, I can assure you, we are working on that. And that has been our mission. And that is why we wake up each morning to go and face Nairobians and tell them what we can do for them, not what we can do for the parties. And if you take the party history, 2002, we had NAC and KANU. 2007, we had PNU and ODM. 2013, we had TNA and CORD. 2017, we are having Jubilee and NASA. This tells you, after election party dies, especially the parties which win elections, and hence the people you've elected, the people the parties have brought to you to elect, cease working for you. They start working for the parties which brought them, which gave them that ticket. And we are doing civil education to actually the citizens of Nairobi, and they're enlightened. They're not the people in Mashambani, they're people in Nairobi. Don't be surprised on 8th of August. It will not be a miracle. It will be something which has been worked on.
Polycarp, are you disappointed? Are you angry that the independents, and I asked you earlier on, they're taking away your votes? Mweke here and Kidero are going to win, according to experts, because the Jubilee vote is split. That's how Kidero is coming back.
Jeff, we are independent. We are not a Jubilee vote. We are independent.
But you started off Jubilee. Peter Kennedy was Jubilee.
I'm Dan Shikanda was not in Jubilee.
Okay, let me come in and tell my friend Shikanda, Dan, and Mweke. They are playing the same game. They're in the same team. So we know. And voters on the ground have understood.
What do you mean? Kidero is funding PK?
No, the incumbent county government and the independent candidates who Shikanda, these are part of the same team, and we will beat them combined.
But how are we
they're the same part of the same team, because you can't be such a weak candidate and be in the party. You can't even be offered. You can't. The president. When we went into the Jubilee nomination, there's a reason why you go to the nomination. When you lose, then you support the winning party. I can tell you, even on 9th, they will not even accept after they get their 2,000. They will say they were not counted right. Let's go to the reason why we are looking for political office is to do something for Nairobi. So forget about the politics of how we have constructed the teams. And our mission is very simple: to make Nairobi clean and bright, to make Nairobi lush and green, to make Nairobi safe and secure, to make Nairobi livable and hospitable, and to make Nairobi a place of jobs and prosperity. And I'll give you an example of how young people today, 7 days a week, they're spending 5 days dealing with the city inspectorate department. I was working in Kamukunji. The incumbent government has even introduced a license for trolleys. You know, you pay a single business permit for your shop, but a trolley, like if I'm moving shoes from the shop to the bus stop, I have to pay a trolley 50 bob.
That's not true.
And I will tweet it just now to your phone. You will see the trolley receipt that people pay.
Trolley receipt.
You have to pay 50 shillings.
An automated
which is
payment system that has no receipts.
Which you negotiated so badly. What Mweke is not even telling you here, for every revenue transaction of the city of Nairobi, there is a third-party company hasn't done any illegal contract that earns 4.5% of every revenue transaction.
Again, that's not true.
This is the Auditor General.
Who owns that company?
Mweke can tell us.
She has no clue.
You wanted to respond.
And I can tell you. No. Just a minute. Dan, the incumbent, let's just say the situation today financially, because he said they have not been given 72 billion. Who would give them when the guys don't even have a county asset register? They don't have county liabilities. They illegally borrow without approvals from the house. This is a disaster, Nairobi. Let's vote it out. They are good guys. We can meet them in restaurants, but not in their office.
There's a point I want Igade to go home with.
Yes.
If today Peter Kenneth and Dan Shekanda stepped down, I can assure him they will lose the elections at 6 a.m. before even they have voted.
Who will? Jubilee?
Yeah.
Why?
Sonko and Igade. Why? People vote on tribal lines. Today, if we step down, 500,000 votes will definitely revert back to Kidero Mweke team. That one I can assure you.
You see, that's why I'm saying they're the part of the same team.
Yeah. So for us to it is an advantage to Sonko and Igade.
Look at the issue that we can educate Nairobians.
Go on, Jonathan.
Yeah, if we can just get back to the issues. I'm surprised at Polycarp because he thinks that running government is running a private company. It's completely different. This is not about making quick decisions and quick fixes like we've seen the senator does with a handout system. This is to make sure that you profiteer a few shareholders. This is about government. This is about 5 million people. I hear Igade here say they're going to restore Nairobi. Jeff, let me tell you what we found Nairobi as. We found Nairobi with 3,000 ghost workers. We had to bring a priest to exorcise those ghosts. Nowadays we have flesh and blood working. We found Nairobi with criminal gangs, Mungiki, Kamjesh, Jeshi Lamze, Superpower, Baghdad Boys. We've cleared those things. We found Nairobi dark. We've put in street lights. Now, Mama Wangare, who we had Githeri in her kiosk the other day in Githurai 44, is able to open her kiosk until 11 p.m. The street was dark. She'd be scared of getting raped as she was going home if she closed later than 6 p.m. And we have fixed all that. The city now is lit. People can do business until 11 midnight. There's no ghost workers in the county of Nairobi. We've sealed all revenue loopholes. That's why we increased revenue from 7 billion to about 12 billion, 12.7 billion in just 3 years. So we can have more money for service delivery.
Jonathan, let me ask you real quick.
Hold on, Jeff. My point is,
yes,
Igade and Sonko want to restore Nairobi back to where the criminal gangs are. And we've seen as they go out in their campaigns, now they are shooting our young men. We've seen now people where we had removed all these extortionists of small businesses. We're seeing now Gaza gang has come back in Kayole and Kariobangi.
Are you blaming Sonko and Igade?
Well, they come from the same Sonko rescue team thing. That's what happens when you employ people, put them in red shirts, and then you don't pay them. You tell them, and then it was street mutafute do yenu. So now they are beginning to extort people. We are seeing gangs coming back to the Matatu terminals. We had cleared that, but in the hope of a Sonko government, they are saying sasa tuko sawa. Kabla mwingie mathri lazima mchote. Is this what they want to restore Nairobi back to?
I'll get Polycarp to respond real quick, but before he does that, Jonathan, can you reassure Nairobians that you're going to solve this cholera mess? A city like Nairobi, when you have a cholera crisis, we blame you, the government, and it's been a mess.
Yes, I'll explain the history of the cholera
crisis. Real quick. We don't have that much time.
Yeah, just very history. It's because of the lack of water. We know we've suffered a drought. national drought. It didn't rain last year and the year before. Ndakaine Dam, which 80% of our water comes from, is come down to levels never seen before. We are at 37%. We're usually at 80 to 90%, which means there's been serious rationing of water in Nairobi. What then that has done is it has given business to water bowsers, whom sometimes you don't know where they get their water from. I understand the other day when I was in Mukuru kwa Ruben, a citizen who I have his contact, so I can substantiate this, called Wambua, said that that's Mukuru kwa Ruben got infected with water because a Sonko rescue team truck that was carrying unauthorized, untested, and unlicensed water brought water to the slums. So it's because of the lack of water that we had this gap.
Again, you're blaming Sonko Igathi.
Well,
even for cholera.
His trucks,
all of them
are not registered by us. So what have we done as the incumbent? We have banned all non-authorized trucks or water bowsers from delivering water to residents because we don't know where the water is coming from.
But SRT is delivering water. Go on,
I'll start with the issue of water.
Yes.
Nairobi Water Company and Sewer Company is very badly managed by the incumbents. It has 7 regional managers who actually call themselves governors. These are the guys who run those camps of those water bowser trucks. To be honest with you, the greed has become so much that they can't even control. So you find a honey sucking truck. Honey sucking is a truck that extracts sewer. The following morning, it carries clean water to deliver into restaurants.
The same truck?
Yes, that is what's going on. That's a fact.
Aye.
And it's happening under this incumbent government's watch. But how would they... Can I please finish? Because you guys have not been interrupting you.
Go on.
Number two, if you come to this issue of gangs, the reason why we haven't even been doing roadshows is because the incumbent government has been dressing up young people, that same Gaza gang, in our t-shirts to go and knife and kill people. And they had done that before. They were even going to hawkers were being knifed. As I speak to you today, along Uhuru Highway, they are using OCS at Central Police to even arrest those people who sell newspaper magazines and Time magazines around there. The most harassed person in Kenya today is a young person between the age of 19 and 30 doing honest, genuine business in Nairobi by this incumbent government. I don't have to prove myself. You can get 1 million young people in this city who will tell you the same.
But Polycarp, he just accused you of bringing the gangs back to town.
Absolutely. He did that, and I don't want to respond to even give respect to that accusation, because that's how they've been trying to pitch Mike Mbuvi Sonko. These people don't believe that you can actually come from a low level family or from a poor level family and make it in life. So they always try to pitch him as a gangster, and they have failed. That's what they have been trying to do. But forget about the persona. Let's stick to the issue. My colleague, I want to close with Namata, the Nairobi Metropolitan Traffic Authority. I'm surprised that the incumbent deputy governor doesn't even know. By presidential decree, because of the political incongruence and gridlock, that the president on 18th February this year gave an executive order for Namata to be implemented. The authority is in place. The board members are being put. Nairobi Metropolitan Traffic Authority brings together Kiambu, Machakos, Nairobi in a plan to decongest Nairobi. That we agree. But let me also give credit where it's due to my due competitor. Me, the one thing I know he has done as deputy governor is speak to Safaricom to fix the health center along Wayaki Way. That you have to give to him. I've tried to find one thing they have done.
That's it.
That's the only thing I've identified.
That's why I brought this big file.
Yes.
This is my Google of projects in Nairobi.
This is the only thing I've identified that he has done, and I commend him.
All right.
It's time for him to go.
Tanchikanda.
Let us not lose the major issue. The major issue here is Sonko and Kidero are the incumbents. Let us not separate them, because if Kidero has failed, Sonko has failed more. If Sonko has failed, Kidero has failed more. I don't know why these people are coming here to start blaming each other and saying that we will do better. They are already in office. 5 years down the line, they have nothing to show. Their parting shot to Nairobians is cholera and the gangs they are talking about. The areas you cannot enter without paying these gangs. And it is becoming serious. Nairobi is actually sinking into an anarchy state, because if we leave it continue like that, if we have such leadership, there is no way we are going.
But Shikanda, if Nairobi was sinking into an anarchy state, would Jack Ma have come?
Exactly.
No, let's be honest.
If we can come, if we can come to a national radio station and say Nairobi is clean, are we serious with what we're
It's not clean, but it's not anarchy. It's somewhere in between.
Today, go to Waraka. Just go to Waraka and start from Lakisama. You want to go all the way, you pass through Korogosho. I can assure you, you will not go through.
No, let's have some hope. We can fix Nairobi is fixable.
And insecurity. You will not go through. Go to Dandora. I'm telling you, the areas you go, I'm telling you, we finish a day and we thank our God.
Well, Jonathan, if your government had done a successful job in Nairobi, you wouldn't have these problems. You wouldn't be tied in the polls. You wouldn't be having people complaining. So you guys, let's face it.
Yes.
You failed in some instances.
Failed is not the right word to use.
Okay, didn't succeed.
We've not been able to fix Nairobi to make it perfect. And I'll tell you why. For the last 30 or 40 years, Nairobi has been completely mismanaged by successive regimes. We came and found Nairobi in a deep hole. I told you that we were ranked the second worst city to live in the world. Yeah, and what we did is we started first by putting in systems. We put in an automated revenue collection system, because we noticed without revenue you can't do anything. So that blocked the gaps. Right now, real time, I can go to my phone or any device and tell you how much money we've collected in Nairobi up to date. We gave that contract to a youth company. He was 29 years old, the owner of that company. Now he's 32. He's employed 105 young people. That company started in a it's called Jumbo Pay. It started in a cyber cafe. Right now he offers services to Kisumu County, to Machakos County, to Trans Nzoia County, to NHIF, to Uganda Revenue Authority, to Kwale Water, to Nairobi Water, to Mombasa Water. This guy is 32 years old. He is now the largest mobile wallet in the region after M-Pesa. He's managed to almost double our revenue collection by increasing it from 7 billion to 12 billion, so that we can do what we've been able to do in healthcare, I mentioned, in education, where we've built 6 new schools and put 85,000 children who are never in school. We've lit up Nairobi from 20,000 streetlights to 85,000 streetlights, so now the lights are working, and several other things we've been able to do in Nairobi. Our urban renewal project of new houses is able to be done because of the funds that we've been able to collect on this system.
And yet you can't even get 50% of the poll ranking.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, you cannot fix 30 or 40 years of complete mismanagement in 4 years. And that's why we are asking Kenyans, can you give us another 5 years? We've gotten Nairobi out of the hole. We are now on the runoff, able to take off, so that we can finish all these projects.
What if they don't give it to you, Jonathan? What if they don't give it to you?
My friend Polycarp Igathe said Nairobi Water is completely mismanaged. And why I keep saying Polycarp has no clue. If you look here, and Google doesn't lie, Managing Director Engineer Philip Gishuki displays the prestigious awards he won during the Africa Utility Week. Engineer Gishuki is Africa's top utility CEO. So the person that Polycarp Igathe is saying has mismanaged Nairobi Water is the same one who has won Africa's top utility CEO.
Go on, Polycarp.
Let me Dan, allow me to tell my brother. He's spoken so much about awards here. You know these awards are bought. Can I tell you
rubbish and I was given in Cape Town?
Can I listen? In fact, it's even worse. I wish it was in Nairobi. I wish it was even in Nairobi.
I'd like to
if you ever see somebody, how can Nairobi Water win an award?
Yeah, it did.
When there's 50% water loss, it was an Africa wide. Nairobians vote out this government. Nairobians vote out this government. These people, you're winning an award, and people are even getting water in Lavington, Haden Road, outside this radio station. There's a water bowser by the Anglican Church, and you're winning awards.
Gentlemen,
This is unacceptable, my friend.
Finally, they have woken up. I was waiting to see when you were okay. Gentlemen, hold on.
The only award we want is an award of water every day on the taps.
Okay.
Not a certificate that Moika receives in Cape Town.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. Come back. Do not go away. If you guys aren't going anywhere, if you don't have any interviews or appointments, let's continue this after the news because this is just getting warmed up to us.
That's it.
Somebody say, oh my.
It's the Hot Breakfast with Jeff and Jalango.